Okay, good. So Leila told me to work on a consultation related to exercise. So I don't know if you know that. Okay, usually we start from to usually to have consultation from the client question. Yeah, that's the, let's say, traditional way to start a consultation. But of course, we can start consultation by, let's say, anything. Yeah. I remember, I don't know if Alex, you were there. I don't think so. One year in the La Chapelle, Oscar started the consultation by observing a person walking in the room. And it was really interesting, by the way. And he included the group to make observation, and it was really nice. And tonight we are going to work on the relation between, let's say, exercise. I think you work on conceptualization this week, right? Yeah. Okay. And so we're gonna discuss about that, and then maybe we can do an example. We can work directly with one of you. Yeah. Maybe by sharing your main difficulty in the exercise. Um, let me give you an example that happened just yesterday at school. I was uh, listening this student of mine. She wanted to tell me something. Yeah, she wanted to ask me a question basically. Yeah, she told me I have a question. Okay, and I said okay, go on. And she started talking, and she was keeping adding elements in the question. So she was opening basically brackets and saying other information. And because of that, I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand her. And at one point, I started questioning her, and we understood that why she was doing it. And the main reason was that she was afraid to be attacked by other students in the classroom because she was proposing an idea that she knew already that other people didn't agree with. So basically, the main idea is that that her way to speak, adding a lot of element, was basically an expression of self protection and fear of attacking, to be attacked, basically. Yeah. So as you see from this simple example, I could start a consultation from that problem I saw in the student question. Yeah. And by the way, it wasn't a true question. It was an affirmation. It was an idea she wanted to propose, but because of self-protection, she was basically faking to ask a question. Yeah, but actually was a way to protect her idea, to hide the idea behind the question. So I think it happened to you a lot that you spot this strategy basically, yeah, and this difficulty, yeah. And let me propose you a last idea that often when there is a kind of difficulty in thinking, we can see the relation with existence basically, yeah. So we can switch from cognitive to existential level, yeah. And we usually see in the consultation, yeah, when there is a problem in thinking, usually there is a problem in life reflected, yeah. So basically this is a bit what we are discussing tonight together and we're working on, yeah. And before we start sharing, for example, your difficulty with the exercise, do you want to say something about that? You have some, I don't know, you have a question, you have a comment you want to add about this topic? Hi, Rosanna.
Hi, sorry for the delay.
Don't worry. I just presented basically the workshop you're going to do tonight. And we are working on the relation between consultation and exercise and specifically difficulties in the exercise. Yeah,
Okay,
I gave
thank you.
just a few
Thank you,
examples.
Andrea.
Don't worry. So before we go on, any any comment? Any questions? Yes, Soraya?
How did you start the consultation without a question from her, but from a observation that you did?
Wait, you're speaking about my example, my student?
Yes.
Yeah, basically the starting point of the consultation was that I noticed that I couldn't understand what she wanted to say, and I was paying attention. I was available, so I conclude that it wasn't my problem; it was her problem, and I started to investigate why she couldn't be clear enough to let me understand what she wanted to say. Yeah. But of course, if you are too, let's say, uh, insecure and you don't understand, you could lose that opportunity because maybe you could start thinking that it's your problem. Yeah. So you have to make sure that you are listening, you're paying attention, you are there in the present. Yeah. And if you see that you don't understand, usually it's not always the case. Sometimes it was my problem, but usually the problem is in the other speech, and you start investigating by asking question. I don't know if I answer your question, Soraya.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you do that when you don't understand that you start thinking that there is a problem in the other person speaking and thinking, or maybe you start to panic and I don't understand, it's my problem.
I noticed, but I don't ask why. I just notice.
Also, you see the problem, but you don't investigate, basically.
Yes.
And why you don't investigate?
Uh, uh, I don't know.
Okay, try to think. You see, by the
I
way, this
think
is an example of starting a consultation from a comment. Yeah. I mean, then I will stop, but it could be a starting point of a consultation. So, why you don't investigate when you don't understand, but you see the problem?
I think it's because I see that the other people struggle with the language because they do in English to me, especially at work. So yeah, I don't want to push them th- to yeah do the work in when they are struggling in the same language.
Okay, so how do you call this? Let's say I don't want to push the other person. Can you name this uh, dynamic? How do you conceptualize it?
Protective.
You want to protect the other or your
Yeah.
protection of the other.
Yeah.
Okay, let me translate in another way. Your fear of hurting the other person.
Yes.
Okay, so you don't investigate because you're afraid that you can create pain in the client or in the interlocutor.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, 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 okay. So, and you see this problem like often in your way to make consultation, this fear of create sorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's something of them.
Okay, okay. And how can you overcome this fear, you think?
uh Pay attention more to the other than what are my emotions in the
Ah, okay.
moment.
So basically, you protect the other because not because you're so interested in the other, but because you want to protect yourself, basically.
Yes.
What are you protecting from yourself?
That hurting others can make that the others hurt me back.
Ah, it's a self-protection, basically. So you
Yeah.
protect the other in order to protect yourself, because you are afraid that if you create some pain in the other person, that the other person can react by creating pain yourself.
Yes.
Ah, okay, 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 okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. So yes, I think I agree with you. It could be a nice strategy to forget a bit about yourself. Yeah, and don't be so paranoid that people can hurt you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and by the way, even if it happens, you can use it in order to think. Yeah, sometimes people attack me, but if you keep your, I mean, you control your emotion, you can still reasoning even and use that. Is not always possible, but sometimes it can work. Yeah. For example, you can ask, "Do you notice that you are getting aggressive?" And then if the person is available to reason a bit, you can investigate why you get aggressive, and you can reason why there is rage. Yeah, and what can be the cause of the rage, and then you can link this to other ideas, and maybe you can go back to the previous discussion. So in a way, even that you're afraid from, it could be an opportunity to have a nice interesting dialogue. Of course, it's not easy, yeah, but if you detach a bit from yourself, it can work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, I think this is a simple example of starting a consultation from, let's say, a comment. It was a question, I guess. Yeah, you asked me,
Yes.
but then I ask you back. How about you, basically? Yeah. So you see,
Yeah.
that's a way to prove that you could start a dialogue from anything, basically. Yeah, and specifically from an exercise. Yes. Okay, thank you, Soraya. Anyone else? Yes, Alex?
I was thinking about the comment there about um, protecting the other to protect yourself because of how they may react. But what it feels like for myself is in the moment, I'm overcome by an emotion internally about the other's sort of vulnerability, and then I project onto them, I think, my own internal fear there. I can't kill myself. I make them very much like, I turn them into myself in a way. I project my fear onto them. Um, I'm not so worried about them hurting me. It's like I've put an image of myself on them, my internally, and I'm protecting myself against knowledge in some way. I'm not actually worried about them hurting me. It's almost myself getting hurt by pushing them.
Ah, okay. So you're proposing, let's say, a different interpretation that is what we call self-protection by Soraya could be basically a projection that she does, and since she thinks that to get more information about oneself can be hurting, she's projecting this idea to the other. That was it?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay. Let me ask, Soraya, can be the case or no? Can be an
I don't. I don't understand it.
okay. So, Alina, did you understand?
I understand that the idea is to
Okay, wait,
project.
stop, Alina. Then I will let you speak. Just tell me if you understood or no. Because,
Yes,
okay, yes. Can you rephrase in a nicer way than me, than to Soraya, the main idea that Alexander Alec has expressed before?
Alex expressed the idea that you project your own feelings or your own vulnerability onto the other person. So it's not that you are afraid of being hurt, but you project your own image onto the other.
And
That's
then
what
I think he added something else that in this image, there is the fear of discovering something about oneself, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Alina. It's more clear now, Soraya?
Yes.
It can make sense that you're projecting your image of yourself on the other, and basically by defending the other, indeed you are defending yourself from knowledge because you fear knowledge of yourself.
I think no. I think in my case is, as I say, is fear of being hurt.
Okay, but why do you think people can hurt you?
Maybe because I'm a bit paranoid. Yes.
Okay, so you see danger even if there is no danger. That's the idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why maybe you tend to over control. Usually,
Yeah.
paranoid people tend to over control reality. They want to control too much. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not heavy.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess so. And what could you do in order to lighten a bit your life from this heavy system?
um, enjoy more surprises.
Okay, so instead of let's say uh, in when you have an encounter with new people, instead of defend yourself, to see in that unknowns an opportunity to discover something good, to have a good surprise.
Yeah.
Okay, but you know, in order to enjoy more surprise, you need to let it go a bit. You need to control less. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. By the way, Alex, are you there?
I am, Andrea. I was just
Yeah, I
eating
wanted to.
my dinner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't worry. I think, but I liked your idea, and let me ask you, since I maybe it's not the case of Soraya, but I think it makes sense in general, your idea, this tendency of projecting oneself in the other, yeah. And I see a lot often, like in school, there are some teacher when they project themselves in the student, they basically treat the student as if they were themselves, basically. But let me let me ask you, uh, is maybe what you the idea that you propose can speak about yourself. Do you tend to project yourself in others?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so maybe that's why you interpret. So now you did that. You project yourself in Soraya. Yeah.
I think yeah, I do that, and in my work, I must deal with very confrontational people, so I don't really fear their response. So I have that much less. I think the worry is more about something I discover in myself.
Okay, so it was a nice example of self-projection.
Mm.
Okay. But do you know how to distinguish? I mean, are you aware that you are projecting yourself when you do that or no?
Well, maybe it's a bit of a mixture. I think there is genuine concern for hurt in the other. Um, and yeah, it's difficult to tell actually when I'm projecting or not projecting. But I know when
Yeah.
yeah.
But for
But I
example,
know,
okay, go on.
sorry. No, but I know when a fear overcomes me when I can see there's something that touches very. I think is touching deeply on this person.
Okay. For example, before you were aware that you were projecting yourself in Soraya's case.
No, I wasn't aware.
Okay. So now I think it's a nice topic to try to understand how can you be more aware when you do that, because uh, maybe it will happen again, I guess, that you will project yourself. But if you're aware that this is your tendency, maybe you can control a little more this habit that you have. How can you be more
Mm.
aware?
Well, maybe taking it more at face value. So Soraya said she's afraid of the person acting back. And then I should take those words, that's what she's provided, and I should explore that, stick to the words that she said before I move to another idea that links somehow with myself.
Yes, I think that's a good one. So basically, instead of going for a quick conclusion, before you check, let's say, the evidence. By the way, you are a lawyer, so you should work with evidence. Yeah,
Mm.
when you want to say anything, you work a bit with
Mm.
evidence. So yeah, so you try to see if your idea can be confirmed from some objective evidence of or maybe not. Yeah. So in a
Mm.
way, you need to slow down a bit your way of thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you're too quick. Yeah, you're a bit instinctive in your way of thinking. No.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So you see, if you're aware that you're quick, you're a bit instinctive, you can slow a bit, and if you slow a bit, maybe you're gonna see more, and you're gonna see when you tend to project yourself.
Mm. Yes.
Okay, but by the way, this was another example of you see, we started from let's say an interpretation that Alex proposed from to Soraya. And then since Soraya didn't, let's say, recognize herself in this system, I had the idea that maybe this interpretation was speaking more about Alex. Yeah. So we check and we saw that there was some connection. Yeah. So
Mm.
basically, in a way, the idea is that we have to be flexible and to work with what we have, basically. And sometimes we have just, I don't know, a mistake or a misinterpretation or an overinterpretation or underinterpretation. Yeah. You work on interpretation already, right? All of you, I guess.
Mm.
Yes, yeah. For example, what I notice, and it happened to me as well, when someone does underinterpretation, you know the underinterpretation, what it is? When you basically don't add anything subjective to your interpretation and you stick too much to the text or the objective element you are supposed to interpret, yeah? So the basically the under interpretation is implies a lack of subjectivity in the interpretation. And usually what I saw is that when the person makes an under interpretation is because there is some fear, for example, of making mistakes. So you're afraid to make mistakes, so you don't allow your subjectivity to express in not even a bit, and you prefer not to add anything from your own subjective perspective, and you just repeat what is there. Yeah. So you see, this is another proof that the make you see maybe better the link from a cognitive, let's say problem and existential problem. Yeah. So that's, by the way, that's what I like a lot. Is one of the characteristics I like a lot about this practice, the link between the dialogue and the existence. And that was a big idea by Socrates to make philosophy through a subjectivity from another one through the dialogue. Yeah. And I think it's a big idea. Also, I don't know if you know the myth of the cave. It's really popular and famous. It's contained in the Republic, the book seventh. The idea that there are slaves in the cave, and one of them get free, and then he start to walking around in the cave, and then he is able to get out of the cave and he see all the world outside. Yeah, but then at the end he decide to go back in the cave. Yeah, to try to free the other prisoners. Yeah, even if it's risky, because most of the prisoners, they prefer to get to be there, to stay there. Yeah, that's a bit the idea of philosophy in Plato and in Socrates, is a dialogue with other people. Yeah, and the dialogue have a way, I have this cathartic effect that let you discover something about yourself, like for Alex before, or Soraya. And by discovering, by getting more awareness, you are also more free. That's just an interpretation of the myth of K. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you want to say something about that. Otherwise, Alina, Rosanna, if, do you have any comments or questions?
Um,
Yes, Alina.
yes, it happened to me that talking with a friend on a chat on Telegram, he's someone who speaks a lot, who is very chaotic. He brings many ideas at one time, and I try to make him understand that he's not clear, but he doesn't understand, and I didn't manage to figure out why he's so confused, so chaotic. So you spoke about your student, that you managed to figure out why she speaks too much because she wants to protect her idea. But in my case, I didn't manage to find out why he's so chaotic.
Would you like
Although
to try now?
Sorry?
Would you like to try now to think why it could be so chaotic, or no?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start together. I think it's a nice example that about the topic of tonight. So, anyone has an hypothesis to explain why this person tend to share, let's say, too many ideas that makes this person confused than clear? That is the case, right, Alina? Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, so now in general, why a person should behave like that? Of course, it can be different explanation, like we saw before. Yeah. So, hypothesis. Yes, Alex.
Uh,
It can be a way to hide.
Okay, explain.
So maybe it feels better sometimes to keep yourself in a state of confusion than to actually face the truth, because the truth may require you to actually make some act in the world. Whereas if you're confused, it's almost like a stasis. You're stuck in a position.
Okay. And can you link with the many ideas that this guy tend to propose?
So Aline's friend makes many ideas. She tries to use the practice to bring clarity. I imagine she did it well. Try to draw out some coherent threads. But if he actually paid attention to the coherent threads, it would lead to some conclusions, some action that he must take in life. He's not ready to actually hear the truth in a way here, or to clarify his thinking. So he doesn't. Instead, he falls back into the confusion.
Let me translate in a concept, is lack of commitment. Or is something different?
Fear of
When you
commitment.
commit, you are ready to act when you commit to something.
Yeah. So fear of commitment. Yeah.
Okay, nice idea. Let's try. Alina, can be a nice hypothesis for your client that maybe this person, I don't know this person, you know, can be afraid to commit herself, or is a guy, or is a girl?
He's a guy. He's a
He's a
guy.
guy. Okay.
Yes. Yes, the idea makes sense because what I know from him is that, for example, he doesn't like rules. You know, when you have to follow some rules, he
Okay.
doesn't like it.
You know what? Usually, when people don't respect the rules, usually they get impotent, and they get stuck because they tend to exaggerate, and then they cannot go on anymore. Yeah. So I think it's right, Alex, that maybe this person is a bit stuck in
Yes,
it.
yes. But
Yes.
it makes sense. Yes, it means that he doesn't want to take responsibility for what it means to see the truth about himself. That would yes. So he would like to change some things, and maybe he doesn't want to change.
Yes, and by the way, I think it makes sense also what Alex said at the beginning. He proposed the idea of hiding, because
Yes.
if you think hiding is the opposite of commit yourself. When you commit yourself, you stick in a position and you go on, yeah, and you're ready to lose, to win, to anything, yeah. But when you hide, in a way, you prefer not to exist, yeah. You don't take responsibility for what you are, what you do, yeah. Do you see this hiding side in that person or no?
Mm. I see fear of commitment. Yes.
Can be a way to hide fear of commitment.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this person fears to exist, to stand out, to get out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice, nice hypothesis, Alice. Thank you. Rosanna, did you raise your?
Ma maybe I don't know. I don't know the friends of Falina, ma sometimes the emotion prevails on the emotional side prevails on the rational side. It's difficult to do un discorso.
Speech.
A speech, a rational speech, because the client is in the grip of emotional seizure.
But what do you think is the main emotion that uh, can feel this guy by hiding himself and by proposing many ideas?
I don't know which emotion specifically, but the emotional side is
Okay, taking time to take over. Yeah.
I want to say my problem. I want to speech. I want to. I don't have. It doesn't have a purpose in this moment. A purpose. I want to tell my problem. Maybe sometimes the client have this phase, this moment, above all at the beginning of the consultation. There is a moment of
let me understand if I understood. You're proposing the idea that this guy want to express himself instead of reasoning.
Yes.
Express.
Is a moment, no? But I need to express my rage, my fear, my it's not important what. But
Okay. So expression. Okay. How do, okay, interesting. Alina, how do you relate this, let's say, need of self-expression with the idea, the previous idea we saw through Alex's comment of hiding and fear of existence? How can you try to put them together somehow or no?
Yeah, it seems like opposite ideas.
Yeah,
He
I
wants to
agree with
express
you.
himself or he wants to hide.
Yes, yes, I agree with you. It seems a contradiction. Yes, yes.
Yes.
But you know, contradiction like Hegel teach are really interesting, yeah? So I want to propose to you to reflect about this apparent contradiction. Can somehow make sense that this person at the same time has the desire to self-express and to hide? Or no, doesn't make sense at all.
Yes, it makes sense.
Can you explain how it makes sense?
What Rosanna said is important. Emotion side prevails on rational side.
Yeah, expression. Yeah, expression.
So, um, so he expresses himself. He shows his emotions without having to engage or to take responsibility for his actions. That could work together.
Okay, so let's say to express what he feels without taking responsibility.
Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. I think it's a nice hypothesis. Let's see if we have other hypotheses because I think it's a nice problem, by the way. And so there is other hypothesis. Alina, you seem a bit puzzled now. What's going on?
No, I was thinking about the emotional side, and
Yes.
you asked Rosanna which emotion it could be, and I think it could be fear.
Fear of what?
Fear of not looking smart, because he
Fear of
brings
stupidity.
yes,
Stupid, yeah.
yes, because he brings many ideas.
Okay, so you want to be recognized
Yes,
as intelligent, as clever, smart.
yes,
So, and you know, to be recognized, it implies to be seen. And
yes.
you know which kind of people tend to want to so much to be seen?
Um, Artists.
Yeah, okay,
I'm
yes.
saying that because he's an artist.
Ah, by the way, yes, I think it makes sense. Yeah, an artist want to be seen through what he does. Yeah,
Yes.
to be recognized. Yeah, but you see that this need to exist in this person, but at the same time, the fear of existing. Oh no.
Shy people who are shy,
Okay, explain.
They they fear to exist, and at the same time, they want to be recognized and seen.
Okay, maybe not all the shy, but I think yes, because shy people usually, I think that can be divided in two categories. People that they want to disappear because they think they are bad, or people that, in a way, by hiding themselves, they want to be recognized as original, as unique in a way, yeah, as the person that is in the corner in order to distinguish himself from others.
Mhm.
Can be the case of your friend.
No, not so much.
It's
No,
more you want to be seen in most an active way. Yeah, it's not shy.
no, yes, yeah,
Okay, he tend to overdo. Yeah.
yes,
Okay, so he tend to exaggerate. He has a problem with limits and rules.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So it's typical of some artists that they want to get the absolute. Yeah.
Mhm.
By, in a way, by creating another reality. Yeah, I was reading this book. It was really interesting. Let me tell you the main idea. I don't remember the name of the author, but is this do you know psychoanalysis, Alina, a bit?
A little bit.
Okay, so basically, this author was using psychoanalysis to explain the artistic, let's say, dynamic. Yeah. And she proposed this idea that an artist, by being creative, yeah, which means that he tend to create a new world, yeah. It tend to remain a little baby, a little child, because in a way, creativity can be seen as a way to reject reality in order to create a new reality that you prefer. Yeah. So there is, in a way, a childish dimension. This is fear of growing up, fear of accepting limits, which are connected with reality. So I think a nice, a possible hypothesis to describe your friend is that maybe this person has fear of limits and has fear of reality, and that's why he fears of existence, yeah, to exist. So he prefers to create new reality without those limits. Yeah, can work or no?
Yes, yes, it makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, try to tell him and let me know what he tells you.
Yes.
Andrea,
Yes, Alex.
sorry to intervene. I realize I've come to the wrong group actually, and Matthias is calling me to the other group.
No. Oh,
But
you
I
got this
enjoyed
nice
this.
idea. Well, yeah, you should stay here.
It would be good, but I think I must meet my competencies quotient.
Yeah, don't worry, don't worry. I was joking. You can you can go. See you next time,
Okay.
Alex. Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Thanks all.
Okay, okay. Yes, yes. So, are you satisfied with your case? Did you now do you understand a bit better your friend mechanism? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And how come you didn't see that?
Because of my own emotion, I was annoyed.
Okay, you were frustrated, annoyed. Yeah. But
And
why? What frustrated you?
because I asked him some questions, but he he always finds a way to
Escape.
avoid answering, to escape.
But you know why he does it or no?
Well, based on what we just said, yes, I understand better now.
Yeah, you know, when you ask something to someone, you are in a way pushing the person to think in a certain limit area, yeah, because a question give you a direction, yeah. So if you tend to reject the rules and limits, you tend to reject question as well. Yeah. So he doesn't want
Yes.
to, he feels like you want to impose him something, and he tend to rebels and to, yeah, to escape. Yeah. But let me tell you a little stupid advice. Instead of keep questioning in the content, why don't you show him that he's not answering you and he is keeping getting away from your questions?
Yeah, I told him.
And what happened?
He continues with his flow of speech.
Oh, so he's compulsive, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But I got some advice, some feedback from my tutor this week, because this case was a part of the homework of last week. You know, it was a mini consultation, and my tutor said, you should try another strategy instead of questioning him and ask him, why don't you answer my question? Just say to him, you know, I'm, for example, I am a very simple-minded person. I can't go too many directions at the same time. So
Yeah.
please have mercy of me, or something like that. Instead
Yeah.
of focusing on him,
Yes.
focusing on me, and show him what his speech produces on me. I cannot understand him.
Yes.
It's too chaotic.
Like I did with the student, I said, I'm sorry, don't understand you. So in a way, yes, I think it's a nice strategy to switch the focus on yourself. Yeah. And then, because in a way, you're helping the person to get a bit out from himself by put the focus on yourself in that case. Yeah.
Yeah, to show him what is
Effect. Yes.
the effect of his speech. And I didn't try this yet, so maybe that will be the next step.
Yes. Plus, if you are able to be a bit funny and ironical, it can be more effective. For example, sometimes there are people like in a school student that they tell me too many things. Yeah. And you know, that's a problem when you want to reason, you want to examine ideas. If the person throw you like three ideas on the same time, it's chaos. Yeah. So usually, what I do sometimes is that I say, "Oh, have pity on me. I'm just a man. You know, men are not able to do two things at the same time. I know you are a woman, so you're superior, but have pity on. I'm just a stupid guy." Yeah, and usually it works, by the way, because usually the person laugh, and then is more able and open to choose, for example, just one idea. Yeah. So
Mhm.
yes, I think it's a nice strategy, but you didn't try this strategy
No,
with him.
not yet.
Okay, try next time and see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. Nice.
Okay, good, nice. Other problems or comments about this? No?
Um,
Yeah, Rosanna?
sorry, I try.
If you prefer, you can speak in Italian, then I translate, but it's up to you.
Ok, thank you Andrea. Allora, i creativi fanno fatica, siccome ho lavorato con i creativi, ho fatto il direttore creativo, no? I creativi fanno fatica a stare nelle regole, lo sappiamo, e a volte serve e anche ad avere, come dire, una sorta di guida, no? Qualcuno che li vuole incasellare. Per cui una cosa che serve è porgli il problema. Cioè, tu come faresti con uno che ti dice cose caotiche, confuse, e questo porgli il problema in una modalità creativa e allora si danno da fare per risolverlo.
Okay. Let me translate. Yeah.
Mm.
So Rosanna said that I mean, since she worked a bit with creative people already, and she noticed that what we said, by the way, that the creative people have tend to have a problem with respecting rules, yeah, and to be clear. And a good strategy she saw can work is that if you if you ask the creative person, how would you what would you do with a person that behave like that, that is creative, is chaotic? What would you suggest to him or to her in order to solve the chaos problem? So in a way, if you ask for help, the creative guy can be creative and help you, and at the same time solve his problem of chaos. So in a way, Rosanna, you're proposing a bit something similar than Alina, because you're uh, moving the focus from that person to something external. It's not just you in this case. It's a general case, yes, say, but it's not anymore about him, directing on him, yeah. And that,
At the way of his behavior. Ma there is a movie, Zelig.
oh,
Did you
Zelig,
see Zelig by Woody Allen?
I heard, but I didn't see it.
Eh, eh, in Zelig, te lo dico in italiano, di Woody Allen, a un certo punto il personaggio che è malato e curato da una psichiatra sa rispondere a tutte le domande. E non, ed è un po' questo, insomma, lei non riesce a gestire questo paziente perché è molto furbo. E allora lei pone a lui il problema che ha con lui. Dici, come faresti con un paziente che si comporta così, 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 così?
And
Perché lui crede di essere uno psichiatra. Lui
e funziona nel film, sì?
sì, nel film funziona, sì, perché lui diventa simile a chi ha davanti, quindi lui diventa uno psichiatra. Siccome
Ok,
parla con la psichiatra e lui sa rispondere alle domande della psichiatra, allora lei gli dica, lo tratta la psichiatra, mio collega, ho un problema con un paziente e gli
yeah, okay,
racconta
okay. Chiaro,
esattamente.
chiaro, chiaro, chiaro.
Eh.
Alina, Soraya, did you understand? Okay, okay. Yeah, it was visible. You didn't understand. You don't, yeah, you don't know Italian. It's a
Sorry.
difficult language. Yeah. Oh, by the way, here Zoom is asking me. It seems that you switch to another language. Zoom is tell me. Okay, so okay. So now we go back to English. Otherwise, Zoom is complaining. Yeah. And no, Rosanna said that basically the same. I mean, the idea she proposed is present in a movie by Woody Allen called Zelig, where there is a guy that goes to this psychiatric or psychologist, and it happened is exactly that dynamic, and it works. So in a way, sometimes watching movies can be good for philosophical practice. Yeah. Okay. But by the way, in general, I think it's a good strategy. For example, it's happened often for me when I see that there is a problem of thinking in the person I'm speaking with. I invite the person to switch from a personal, concrete level to a more general, abstract level. So, for example, I said, okay, in general, what could be the cause of that behavior? Yeah. So, and what I noticed that usually people have a less problem thinking in more abstract way than when they think about themselves. Yeah, because when you think about yourself, sometimes it's more difficult to accept some ideas because you have a certain image of yourself and you're afraid to lose it or to ruin it. Yeah. So I think it's both Alina and Rosanna strategy. I think are good strategy when you see that the person has problem to think about something about himself. Yeah. Okay, good. But now let me propose to you. I would like to do this exercise by starting from your own difficulties, specifically connected to the last exercise. Leila told me you work on conceptualization this week, right? is the week of conceptualization. And I don't know if you remember any difficulties you had by doing this exercise you were supposed to do. So if you have many, you pick the main one, and then we try to connect that difficulty with your way of thinking and your existence. But we're gonna try to do more collective this time, yeah? So have a little moment where you collect your ideas and you pick the main difficulty you notice about yourself in conceptualization. Actually, I think it could be nice to use the doc I prepared already. So let me share the link in the chat. You should be able to open it and to modify it. So you write your name and then you name the main difficulties you have with conceptualization, and then we start to see together um, what is the connection to the existential side. Okay, I think you've done. So want to start to share his own difficulty. We're gonna work on, I think, all of you. So okay, Soraya, can you read it?
Yes. After propose the concept and the explanation, I have problems to evaluate if the concept fits good because I couldn't disattach my emotions.
Okay, how would you name this problem you had?
Hmm. Mm, Yeah, being emotional.
Being emotional. Yeah, by the way, can you evaluate now the concept you just proposed? Or no?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so you're not emotional now. Okay, nice. Okay, okay. What would you say? How do you evaluate? Is it a good concept or no?
I think it's not a good concept because it is implied in my explanation. Should be something else.
Okay, okay. Yeah, and let me add that to be emotional, it's a bit generic. You should at least propose a specific emotion. There is always one emotion then tend to takes over the others one. Yeah. So in a way, it's generic. Maybe I don't know. Maybe because you're afraid to choose one emotion, or because I don't know, you are afraid to make mistakes, so you prefer not to bet on a hypothesis than another. But anyway, okay. So do you have another one now?
Mm,
So after propose the concept and the explanation, I had problem to evaluate if the concept fit good because I couldn't touch my emotions.
I don't have one.
Okay. By the way, the concept can be inside there. The concept is something is there. Yeah. The interpretation has to have something out from outside. Yeah. But the conceptualization, not. You don't have to add something. Yeah. You just in a way explicit something is there. So let Alina or Rosanna help you. Do you have a concept for this problem by Soraya? If you should say the problem she has in one word, which word would you use?
I would use subjectivity
Okay, explain why.
because the problem is that when she produces the concept, she has a difficulty to see if the explanation is good. So that means that she's too much in her subjectivity.
Okay, nice. Can you write it down after emotional underneath? Okay. Okay, and by the way, Alina, that
Can I ask Soraya a question?
okay, go on. Yes.
Soraya, is it easier for you to evaluate the explanation of someone else's concept?
Sorry, repeat.
Is it also difficult for you to evaluate if the explanation is good or not when someone else has given a concept?
No, it's not difficult.
Not difficult.
Okay, so what do you conclude, Alina? Do you have a confirmation or no?
I think it's a confirmation.
Can you explain why to Soraya? It's a confirmation of
She's more objective when she has to evaluate someone else's work. But doing this with herself is more difficult for her.
Okay, so she's more detached with others than with herself. She's to attached to her own emotion when she has to judge something that is connected with herself.
Yes.
And you call it subjectivity, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, nice. I think it's a good one. Yes. Soraya, it's true that you tend to be subjective because you tend to be too close to your own emotion, and as you said, you cannot detach from them.
Yeah.
And can you identify the main emotion you are attached to?
Mm, anxiety.
Anxiety.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you know what is relate this anxiety or no?
Perfectionism.
Can you explicit the link between anxiety and perfectionism?
Uh, I have tendencies to want to make things perfect. So I live constantly in anxiety.
And when problem concern others, you don't have this problem of perfection because it's related to others, right?
Yeah.
So since you want to be perfect, you become emotional and you are not able to detach from self to what you've done. So you cannot evaluate your concept. You are too tight, too near to your concept. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you recognize yourself in this dynamic? Yes. Uh,
Yeah.
let me ask you just for finish. Do you do that I mean, do you see the connection with your life or just in the exercise?
In
That,
my life.
can you provide an example, something you can say, not anything too private, that prove that you tend to be a perfectionist and you tend to be emotional because you are perfectionist and you cannot evaluate yourself. Cannot detach yourself from yourself.
Um, I try to push my limits at work, even when I can't not do it, because I want to finish what I need to finish.
And what's the connect? Is the connection with the lack of, let's say, capacity to evaluate what you have done?
Uh, to see if if what I did is enough or I'm overworking.
You don't you have a hard time to say if you've done enough or you should do more, or you did too much.
Yeah, I want to say, okay, today I'm going to take it easy, but I end up doing too much.
Okay, so you have hard time to evaluate, they say, if you did enough or no, basically.
Yeah,
I have the suspicious that you tend to overdo.
yeah,
But you don't see that because you want so much to prove that you're perfect that it's never enough.
I say it later, but not when I'm doing it.
Okay, so you have a hard time to be aware why you are doing it. So you have a hard time to stop yourself.
Yeah,
Are you an artist like Alina friend?
yeah,
Yes, are you?
yeah.
You see, Alina, she's an artist. I didn't know, by the way. Yes. Okay. And what do you do I mean, which kind of artist you are? What do you do? Painting or singing? What do you do?
Painting.
A painting. And what do you paint usually? Abstract, concrete, what do you do?
I don't I don't do something specifically. I do just for hobby, but
But for example, you do you know which subject you tend to draw usually to paint?
I like nature.
Oh, nature. Okay. Did you recognize yourself? Did you identify yourself a bit with Alina's friend?
Yes.
Okay. But I think you tend to escape less from question. You tend to be. Do you agree, Alina, that Soraya tend to answer properly to the question? Yeah.
Yes, she's not such an escapist. She answers question and she is more focused than my friend.
Okay. So how come, Soraya, you are more focused and you, in a way, you're more rational than Alina's friend? Why? Is it because of philosophical practice IPP course or for other reasons?
I think part it is that, but other side is that I try to be present of what the other says. I notice that I have the tendency to be in my own and be chaotic. So for avoid it, I try to be more with the other.
Okay. So, but how did you, because the Alina's problem is that I mean, Alina's friend's problem is that that he couldn't see this dynamic, right? He was unaware. How did you get aware about your functioning? Through the practice?
Yeah,
Ah, okay. So, okay. Okay, yes. So, Alina, you should invite your friend in the IBP course.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Soraya, you want to add something about our discussion? Or no, you're good.
yes. I think related with the friend of Alina is also the wanting to know, because for me I wanted to know more about myself, but there is other people that they want to express themselves but they don't want to see themselves, so
And
of course they don't
yes, yes,
see it.
yes. And why do you think some people prefer not to see themselves, while other they prefer to do it like you? What's the difference? What can explain the difference?
I think people who they don't want to know about themselves is because they don't like themselves.
So you like more yourself than Alina's friend to himself.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, makes sense. Yeah, let me put you another hypothesis is that you are more courageous than Alina's friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you are more afraid, you tend to escape more. If you escape less,
Yeah.
is that you are more, you feel that you maybe you're stronger and you can face the reality a bit more, and you can uh, accept the challenge, let's say. Yeah. But if you don't trust yourself and if you fear so much about reality, of course you want to escape anytime, all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. So basically, Alina, your friend is a professional escaper.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good, good,
But
good.
he did some philosophical practice.
Oh, it didn't work.
Yes, he did some practice.
Yeah, but it didn't work apparently so
No,
much.
no.
Yeah, yeah. And why you think it didn't work? Was too short the time or what?
Mm. I think for him the need to escape reality is strongest.
Ah, okay, okay, okay. So she's very impotent. She cannot let's say, manage this. Is not just a desire of escape, is a need of escape. So he is a needy person, yeah. He's a bit addicted, let's say, to this escape, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, art can be a good way to escape, and drugs as well. I don't know if take drugs, usually can go they can go together, There are ways to escape. And the more you want to escape, the more strategy of escape you're gonna find in your life. Yeah. So, okay, yeah. So it must be very heavy to escape so much. So next time when he escaped from your question, try to I don't know, to have some compassion about him. Instead of to be frustrated, like you said before, you can say, "Oh, look, this poor guy. He is so fearful that he need to escape also from my question that are so innocent." Yeah.
Yeah. But we have been discussing for 2 years, so my patience has reached its limits.
And he's been escaping for so long from your questions, 2 years.
Sorry?
He's been escaping for so long, for 2 years, when you were trying to have a dialogue, a rational dialogue with him.
Yes,
Wow, but you're really patient, Alina.
that's what I say. My patience has reached its limits.
Yeah, I would have dropped much before, But okay, you should probably I mean, you have good feelings to this guy. You want to help this guy.
Yes, and I think it would be good for him to realize, to be more self-aware of himself. And I hope I will help him to get more awareness of himself.
But at the same time, I think it's a nice problem how much to insist with a person, because sometimes I have the impression that if the other, like Soraya said, that if the other person doesn't want, there is nothing to do, So you can offer the chance to do to a little, path in the rational discussion, but maybe you can use at the beginning some strategy, but after a while, I don't think you can do too much. You cannot impose to be free. It's like to impose to be free to someone. It's impossible. It is a contradiction, If you don't want to be free, I can help you, but I cannot impose you to be free. Yeah. And if you reject my help, maybe that's not the moment. Maybe I will get back in 1 year. But you have a good patient. I invite. I mean, I'm jealous because I'm not so patient. I should be more with my students. Okay, thank you. Okay, good. And Alina, so Rosanna, do you have anything to add about the dialogue with Soraya? The work we have done, starting from his own difficulty in conceptualization?
No,
No? Okay. Alina, did you notice something?
Okay, good.
clear.
Okay. Do you see how, I mean, I think it's nice that you can always find a connection with the person, yeah? And that was a bit the idea of the Socratic dialogue. By knowing yourself, you know better the world, yeah? So know yourself, and know yourself through the dialogue, yeah? I think, and so there is always a certain connection with the existence. But of course, sometimes it's difficult and sometimes it's impossible because some people, they run away so hard that they are better than you in a way. Okay, so now, Alina or Rosanna, you want to share your difficulty?
I have
Okay, nice. Rosanna, you can read.
I have a client that
Oh, wait.
uh,
Now you
okay.
are sharing a different difficulty than you wrote about.
Ok. Ok, ok,
No, no,
sorry.
vuoi condividere questa difficoltà o un'altra, Rosanna?
My difficult that I wrote,
Yes,
okay?
yes.
Yes, uh, I am use the stories with my client. I use the story. I write novels, and I developed a language more analogical. And I use metaphors. I use metaphor. I am not so usual to use concept because I think the concepts are abstract. If the metaphor, the example,
Hey, Rosanna,
working better.
yeah, let me interrupt you. I have an interesting question for you. Can I ask you?
Okay.
Okay. I would like to know why you prefer to explain what you wrote instead of reading it. Did you understand the question? Perché preferisci spiegare?
Ah, ok, so, no, no, non ci ho pensato,
No,
scusa.
but it's a
Ah, lo
question.
leggo, ok,
It's not a-
ok. No, no,
Yeah, but before you read,
no,
can
no,
you?
no, non era consapevole.
Okay, but why do you prefer?
I read, ok.
Okay,
Analogical.
Rosanna, stop. I am not a teacher here. I'm not a teacher. I'm not scolding you. I'm just asking a question. I think it's interesting because, of course, you did,
I didn't think.
okay, you didn't think, but do you agree that if you did, there is a reason why you did, right? C'è una ragione per cui l'hai fatto, anche se non eri consapevole, Rosanna. Sei
Ehm,
d'accordo che ci può essere un motivo dietro, no?
mm,
Hai voglia di provare a pensare quale oppure preferisci?
ehm, ehm, Forse perché è più... perché è un modo di... Scusa, te lo dico in italiano.
Sì, sì, vai, vai, vai.
Anche questo è un modo di raccontare più che di dire.
Okay.
Ecco.
E perché and why you prefer, let's say, tale stuff instead of reading? Perché preferisci raccontare che leggere? In generale.
Perché è più caldo e penso che sia più caldo e coinvolgente raccontare che leggere.
Ah, ok, quindi volevi essere coinvolgente con noi
Sì.
mentre...
Ma
Ok,
non ci ho pensato, se
no,
devo
ma
trovare una ragione.
però vedi, è sempre interessante, può essere interessante anche se proprio perché non ci hai pensato, iniziare a pensarci. Ok.
Sì.
So basically, Alina and Soraya, Rosanna proposed the idea that she tend to prefer to tell, let's say, stories or to explain because she has the impression to include more the listeners, yes, in a way, to include us more. But now you can read, Rosanna, and then if we need, you can explain. Yeah.
Ok, I read. Ok.
Okay.
Analogical thinking comes more naturally for me. The use of metaphors for the way I work with clients.
Oh, okay. For the use of metaphor for the way I work.
Horrible English.
No, no, no. Okay, okay. I work with my client. Okay. But which is the, I mean, I don't see the connection with the difficulty in conceptualization, Rosanna.
Ehm,
Can you show it?
mm, I try. Ehm, a volte ho molto chiaro il significato di qualcosa, ma sono talmente abituata a non usare i concetti, ma usare metafore o perifrasi o vie indirette che ho perso l'abitudine a usare i concetti. Non so se...
Ah, okay. So, okay. So basically, Lina, Soraya, Rosanna said that she has hard time to use concept because she's used to use more uh, metaphors or let's say little description. Yeah. So she has hard time to conceptualize, maybe because she's used to do something different. Okay. Um, Alina, Soraya, do you have a question for Rosanna to explore this problem and to see the existential link? Yes, Alina?
But you can use metaphors and still use some concepts. So I don't quite understand why it's difficult for you to conceptualize, because you can do both.
Okay. So basically, you're saying that Rosanna is dividing something that can go together.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You can.
Rosanna, yeah.
You,
Let me ask Rosanna if she agrees first. Rosanna, do you agree that you can use metaphors and use concept as well?
Yes, I agree. I agree. Maybe I try an supposition. I think, maybe sono convinta,
Okay. You think,
sono convinta
believe, yeah.
che le metafore sono più forti dei concetti, espressi in modo astratto. Forse c'è questo.
Okay, she said that she prefers metaphor. So she said you're right, Alina, but she tend to prefer metaphors than concept because she thinks metaphor are more effective than concept. So now, what do you do?
Ma non ci avevo pensato. Mi è
Yeah,
venuto in mente adesso.
that's why we are here. We are here to try to think what usually we don't think, basically. Yeah. So, Alina, what would you ask to Rosanna now?
so Rosanna says metaphor is a more effective way to share an idea. Is that correct?
Yes,
It's more efficient.
she thinks so. Yes, she
Yes.
believes so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What would you ask her in order to make her think?
I would like to ask you, Rosanna, if a concept can be also efficient to express an idea, because not everybody understands metaphors. So could a concept be more efficient?
No, in my experience, with the people that I know, in my experience, in my context, the people don't doesn't understand the concept, understand the metaphors. Ma in my context, where I work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Alina. Then we can do the same with Soraya. I mean, Soraya, you can question Alina in her difficulty, okay? But I think it's nice now to leave a bit Alina to deal with Rosanna.
Mhm. But Rosanna, imagine you have a client who speaks a lot, and you ask him um, to clarify his idea. What do you think will be more efficient, a concept or a metaphor? Do you understand? You know, well, when someone speaks so much,
Okay, a client who speaks a lot.
yes,
Your client, your friend, say your friend.
yes. Imagine my friend,
Okay.
and he has so many ideas.
I think my opinion. Sorry, I look for the words. My conviction is with the concept is more easy, is easier. Fires the smoke bombs.
I didn't get the end of what you said. Sorry.
Rosanna, you can say in Italian if you want, and then I translate.
Sì, allora, ok, le persone a volte sparano fumogeni e ti fanno la supercazzola. Non so come puoi tradurlo, Andrea, no? Una metafora, un'immagine è più potente perché connette il concetto che vuoi esprimere a un'emozione e in qualche modo va oltre.
Okay, so Alina, she said that the metaphor is more powerful because connect, let's say, the idea with an emotion instead of the concept. But let me propose now, Alina, we discussed a bit, yeah. Let me ask you, Alina, do you think, because here we are dealing with a distinction that Rosanna provide between concept and metaphor, yeah? So she distinguished that. But let me ask you, can a concept be a metaphor?
Yes.
How? Can you explain how?
A concept can be a word which expresses some image, something not so concrete, but rather an image. I'm trying to find an example. Yes, I used in my homework last week, I used a concept which was actually a metaphor. It was quicksand.
Quicksand?
You know, quicksand.
What
You know
Is quicksand?
what is it? Quicksand?
Let me check. Ah, yes, quicksand. Yes, yes.
Quicksand. And it was a metaphor for illness. Because when you are ill and you struggle, the more you struggle, the worse it gets. So it's like you are caught in quicksand.
Ah, ok, quicksand sono sabbie mobili, Rosanna. Okay, so let me explain to Rosanna. Alina ha detto che ha usato il concetto di sabbie mobili, no? Parlando con qualcuno per aiutarle a concettualizzare il fatto che più questa persona si sforzava, più finiva giù, no? Finiva dentro. Quindi in questo caso il concetto che lei ha proposto è una metafora. So in this case, Alina, the concept you propose is a metaphor, right?
Yes.
You agree, Rosanna, that
Yes, yes.
so why you distinguish metaphor and concept when a concept can be metaphor?
Is only a formal fact, a abstract word versus a concrete word. That the concrete word like quicksand that can express a concept.
Okay, so it's not about metaphor, it's about be more concrete than abstract, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a different problem. You think that by giving a concrete example, you can help people to understand better yourself than if you speak in an abstract way, right?
Yes.
Okay, but you know, because metaphor can be abstract, by the way.
Okay, okay.
Okay, yeah. So
But
the problem
when I
is
propose,
with is abstract level, yeah,
uh,
right? Ah, okay. So okay. So let's go back to your problem here. Let's see if it's more clear. Analogical thinking comes more naturally for me. The use of metaphor for the way I work with my clients.
mm.
Okay. But let me ask you, Rosanna, it comes more naturally because it works better or because it's easier even for you to use this more analogical, which means concrete, if I understood correctly? No?
Eh, both, entrambe le cose. È più facile per me, funziona meglio.
Are you a concrete person or no, Rosanna?
Yes,
Okay. And so you are more a
concrete,
concrete.
I don't know, creative person. Maybe it's more.
Okay, but it's a different thing. Would you say, I know it's difficult, but would you say you're more abstract or more concrete as a person?
More concrete, more concrete.
Yes? Okay, so maybe that explains why it comes more natural for you, analogical thinking, because for you it's more difficult to be abstract, to move yourself in an abstract level than to be concrete.
Yes, it's more difficult.
Okay, okay, makes sense. So
Mm.
it's your, I mean, okay, and if you are concrete, you are also the impression that other people understand better yourself. Le persone ti capiscono meglio se tu sei più concreta.
Sì,
Capisci
maybe.
meglio e gli altri ti capiscono meglio.
Sì, e forse perché se uso un linguaggio concreto sono più a mio agio, mi faccio capire di più che se uso
Okay,
qualcosa con cui ho meno confidenza.
yeah, in a way, when I mean, you know, I'm a teacher, and when I teach something I don't really understand, usually students don't understand me.
Eh,
You see?
exactly.
So in a way, when I understood and I have a clear idea in my mind, usually everybody understand me. Yeah.
Eh,
So in a way, maybe you think that people prefer concrete because when you go in the concrete level, you work better, you understand better, so other people understand better you.
yes.
Okay, but do you know why you have more problem with abstract or no? You ever thought about that?
Um, when I was a child, I had a big problem with math.
Okay, which is abstract, by the way. Yes.
With math. I need visualize to understand a concept, something new. I need a concrete example. I fix the example. I understand the concept.
Okay, but now let's try to think all together because there are some people they prefer, I mean, they have a hard time to be concrete, and other people like Rosanna, they have more hard time to be abstract. So now let's think why a person should have more could be more difficult for a person to be abstract. Any any reason and any
I
hypothesis?
don't know why.
Yeah, but now I'm asking also Alina and Soraya. So let's try.
Okay.
Okay, okay, Alina.
It could be because she's a pragmatic person. So her paradigm is more pragmatic. Um, she's more at ease with what she can do. Um, she wants to find solutions.
Okay, so but you know, often by being abstract, I find many solutions. So you can want to have solution and be abstract. You agree?
I'm not sure.
You know, in the maths, for example, math is abstract and
Yes.
there are problems and you can find solutions by being abstract. You agree? So
Yes.
it's that undifferentiated concept. It can work both way. So do you have another one that can explain why it's more a problem being abstract? Or no?
Can I say something? Can I say?
Wait. Do you have an answer or you want to say something else?
Okay.
So if something else, just wait a bit and then because I think it's interesting problem, Rosanna. I know you abandon us
Okay.
already. Maybe
I
because we are being abstract in this.
wait.
I don't know.
Okay, now let me propose you an idea, Alina and Soraya and Rosanna. I don't know if you know, but you know that Plato opened a school in Athens, yeah, after the first trip to Syracuse. But I mean, let's skip the details. And the name was Academic, yeah, Academy, yeah. And you know that when if you wanted to become a student of Plato, you had to enter in the school, and for 3 years you had to study just math. So Aristotle, for example, when he went to Athens and he entered in the school of Plato, he had to study math for 3 years. Yeah, and it's interesting because you know people think philosophy, yeah, but no, maths for 3 years because maths for Plato is a really good training to be more abstract and to detach yourself from material stuff. So that's that. Maybe now you're getting where what we wanted. I propose is a kind of intuition. In a way, if you are not able or if you have a hard time to detach yourself from material stuff, you have a hard time to be abstract. So maybe Rosanna, I don't know, don't hate me, it's just an hypothesis. Okay. uh, are you attached to things, material things, or no?
I need material. I need the whole
Okay.
colors. I need the smell. I need
Okay.
material. What
So
is material?
maybe that explains why you have a hard time to be abstract because you are too attached to the material world. You are
Yes.
materialist. You are materialist.
Yes.
Okay.
Materialist and hedonist. Yes.
Okay, you see? So that's why you need concrete stuff.
Yes, I
And,
need it.
and probably that's why you are here to train your abstract dimension of thinking, which is hard for you, is not natural, right?
Mm.
Okay, fine, funny.
Not natural for me. I
Yeah.
need the material.
Are you happy that you discovered that you are materialist and hedonist? Or no? Or you knew already?
Yes, it is
Okay.
okay.
Okay. You see, this is another example of the connection of the difficulty you presented and your way to be in your life. Nice.
Yes.
Okay, good, good. And I don't know if you have time or we can try to be quick. And Alina, can you read your difficulty?
Yes, my main difficulty with conceptualization is that I want to find the perfect concept, the one which suits my idea best. I often find myself hesitating or thinking that there could be a better concept.
Okay, I think that's an easy one. Can you name the main difficulty connected with your conceptualization?
Perfectionism.
Okay, but yes, but I think perfectionism here drives you in another problem connected to conceptualization.
Difficulty to choose.
Yes, I think so. Since you're looking for the perfect one, you cannot, or you have a hard time to choose. And if you don't choose, you cannot conceptualize.
Yes.
And this is very common among students. They underline all the books, yeah, some of them, because they have a hard time to choose, because they are afraid to lose something. They want everything. They want to be perfect and blah blah blah. So I think the main difficulty you have, Alina, I don't know if you agree, is choosing.
Yes, it
And
makes
and
sense.
yeah, and in order to conceptualize, you need to select, which means choosing. By the way, yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you see that in your life as well, or no?
Yes.
Can you
Yes.
provide an example, something you can say?
Um, for example, choosing between
By the way, sorry, this long pause is because you have hard time to choose what you say? Yes? No?
uh, yes, it's funny. Yes.
You
Yes.
see? It's hard to conceptualization, yes.
Yes.
So choose one and say it. And forget about perfect anecdote you want to share.
Yes. For example, choosing my next vacation because I would like to go to many places
Okay.
and I haven't chosen yet.
And what do you do in order to choose? You wait for the last second?
Yes. I wait until last second. Yes.
Okay. So you use
Changing my mind 10 times per day.
you use the time pressure in order to overcome your difficulty to choose. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So I think that makes your life always you are late in a way. Yeah. You tend to be late. Oh no.
Late.
Yeah, because when you do something in the last moment, usually you cannot finish, and you tend to, and then you tend to be late. Oh no.
Mm.
Oh no, it's not late. Your problem.
No, not late. No.
Okay,
No.
but you get anxious at the end because you have just one set to choose. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
without this pressure, you cannot choose.
Yes.
Ah, okay, 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 okay. So in a way, you are a bit impotent without the pressure, and you become more powerful with the pressure.
Yes.
And why you don't put the pressure from inside instead to let some external event to put pressure on you?
I think because it gives me the illusions of being free, because I don't choose, so I have
But you know, it's just the opposite. You're free if you choose.
that's what I said, illusion.
Yes, yes. But it's funny because it's funny the way it works in the mind sometimes, you know. You think you're more free by avoiding the choosing, basically. Yeah.
Yes, because as long as I have not decided, I still have many possibilities. So everything seems possible.
Okay. So next time, try not to wait for the last second, and you choose before the last second. And then I think it could be nice. You write something. How did you feel and what happened? And so in this way, you can become more aware about the functioning of your thinking system. Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
think it's very common, this system, by the way. Yeah. So you wait, so you don't have any, you cannot wait anymore and you have to act. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, okay, good. Soraya, you want to add something about this? Did you identify in this system or no? Did you
Totally.
totally? Okay.
Yes.
You wait as well for the last second in order to do stuff.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And it's the same problem of choosing?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So is existence problem because you know choose is about. I mean, in order to exist, you need to choose. Yeah, and if you have hard time to choose, it means that you have hard time to exist. So okay, are you an artist as well, Alina?
No.
A hidden artist, or
No.
you just have that's why you want to help your artist friend because you project yourself in him. That the Alex idea then before.
Yes, maybe. Yes. Yes.
You see yourself in him, right?
Mm, I don't know if I see myself in him.
You know, choosing is about to accept the limits of reality because choosing it implies renouncing. I mean, you cannot get anything or everything, yeah? So you have to accept the limits connected with your existence. And the problem of your friend was exactly
Mm,
using the limits of, you know, the rules. You see, it's a bit the same system
yeah,
here.
it's my problem too.
Maybe
Yes.
that's why that explains why you've been so patient with him for 2 years. You tried and you never give up. It was something more about him. It was about yourself.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
Nice, fun, you know?
Nice. Yeah. Nice.
Okay, okay. I think we did a lot, and we can conclude with, let's say, a meta concept, a meta comment, let's say, of each of you. So now we can conclude. This is something that you like or surprised or was difficult or annoyed you about the exercise we have done? Yes, Alina?
Yes. For me, it was hard to understand at the beginning what we were doing, because it was not so concrete as usual. So maybe I think it was a bit abstract at the beginning, but then when we went further, it became clear, and it was really interesting to see the connection between our difficulties and our existence. So the workshop became more and more concrete.
So
It was
we
very
start from
abstract.
an abstract level and we get to the existential concrete one. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Are you a materialist like Rosanna?
No.
No, but you prefer concrete or abstract?
I would say I prefer habits. and we have never done this kind of workshop before.
Oh, wait, habits are more concrete or abstract?
Concrete.
Okay, so you're more similar to Rosanna. You prefer
Yes.
concrete.
Yes.
That's
yes.
why at the beginning you didn't like so much. It was too abstract.
Yeah.
You enjoy more at the end because it was more concrete.
Yes.
Okay, but you can start to enjoy more the abstract level as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was a new, by the way, this link, this strong link between abstract and concrete for you. Yes.
Yes.
But you say you could do any time when you have a consultation. And by the way, the consultation has a lot to do with this switch between abstract level and concrete level, existential and cognitive. Yes, universal and subjective level. Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, it was my first workshop where we did this.
Okay, nice, good. Okay, thank you. Rosanna, you have a meta comment?
I have a reflection. I would like to think about that. If does being concrete mean being materialistic?
Okay.
I am not so sure. I want to reflect about that.
Okay, it means that you see a problem here, right? You see a problem.
Yes, it is some incoherence, but I don't know. I have to reflect.
Okay.
But it's very interesting.
Let me propose to you that they are not the same things. They are two different things, but they belong in the same area of meaning. Yeah, concrete and materialist. Yeah. So they are different because they are different words, of course, but they tend to go a bit together. Yeah. Of course, you can distinguish everything. You can find also difference in synonymous. Yeah. You can find different things, but
I don't know
they tend to go
because
together. But you
I
disagree,
think.
right?
Mm, mm.
Why do you disagree?
Uh, no, I don't know because I'm thinking I like the creative writing. In the creative writing, you have to, if you want capture the reader, you have to be concrete, to be powerful. It's not abstract, no? I look for capture my reader or my client in a concrete way, in a three-dimensional way. It's like that. It's materialist. My question is, that is materialistic? Maybe, I don't know. Ma non so se mi sono spiegata, insomma.
Yeah, I understand. You are asking if to be creative and concrete implies necessarily the materialistic. And yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it implies necessarily, but I think in your case, you are both. You are concrete and materialistic. No? But I mean, I agree with you. It's
Maybe.
not necessary link. It's not necessarily. You can be creative, concrete, and not materialistic. Yeah, can be idealistic, for example. So you can be creative, concrete, even if concrete and idealistic, they don't go together. I don't know. Think about that. Now we don't have time, Rosanna, to think about that, but I think it's a nice question.
Is a question, interesting question.
If you come up with some idea, you can always write to me, okay? That I like to have
Thank
different
you.
ideas. Okay?
Thank you, Andrea.
Don't worry. And Soraya, you have a last comment about this workshop?
Yes, I like it to see how with any comments you can start doing sort of the work with consultation, and how even consultant to others uh, in certain topics you can be reflected. You can know better about yourself
Identify
through the
yourself.
work with other.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I like workshop. Sometimes I think it can be more effective than a one-to-one consultation, because even if you work with one person, you give the other people the chance to see the dynamic from outside. And from outside, sometimes you see something that you cannot see from inside, yeah, when you are speaking. That's why, by the way, we record session as well. And I hope sometimes, I sometimes look at the session and I see about myself, for example, something that I didn't notice when I was doing the workshop. I think it's the same with the client. I'm pretty sure that if you're gonna see again this recording, you're gonna notice something that you didn't notice during this process, inside the process. So yes, I think I like workshop, and sometimes I just see on YouTube Oscar workshop, because I think it could be a nice way to learn. Yeah. I mean, I think they're both important, to be in the process, like to swim, but also to see other people swimming, or to see yourself swimming from outside. Yeah. For example, I play ping
Yes.
pong and I record myself when I do training, and then I see myself, and when I see myself from outside, I notice that I do wrong movement that I'm not aware I'm doing when I play, for example.
You
So
play what, Andrea? You play what?
tennis table, ping pong, tennis table.
Okay.
And I record myself and I see myself from outside, and I learn a lot by seeing myself from outside. I see that I do mistakes, for example, that I don't notice when during I'm playing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you. See you next
Very
time.
nice. Very
Bye.
good evening. Bella serata. Grazie.
Grazie. Bye bye.